Hi everyone, this is Renee Romeo of ReneeRomeo.com. Today you're going to view the very end of us buttoning up this area for this DIY underdeck roof and drainage system. Now this is really great because you're going to learn a bunch of tips on how to cut this roofing material to what fasteners we're using, how to cut the gutter system, and how to actually incorporate it into the existing gutter system on your house so that you can get the water out and away from where you don't want it to where you do. So now that we're finished hanging the metal roofing on the 2x4 system, we're shifting gears and changing to a 1x2 system. Now what that means is the pitch is going to be changed a little bit because 1x2s are only 3/4 of an inch thick, but that means that it's going to be stepped down 3/4 of an inch every single time instead of 1/2 inch. And you know what? You might be thinking it might not be quite as strong as the 2x4 system, but you can see I can hang on this all day long. It's super strong. And the great thing about it is this is the part of the project that you can do all by yourself. These things are really lightweight, they're really easy to install, and one of the things that you need to do is you need to pre-drill all of these to get them to go into every single joist, 16-inch on center. So we're getting ready to attach the metal roofing to this step down area. And what we're going to do here is we're changing directions of the metal roofing itself. So the metal roofing on the larger area runs to the back of the house, and this area it's going to run to the side of the house. So what we've done is we've installed all of our gutter clips. So these are all in place and they're actually pitching out toward the yard. We're going to be running a different gutter system for this and connecting into the existing gutter that's in the back of the house. So we have this board attached here for the fascia, and really all it's going to serve as a purpose is just a nailing surface for that fascia board. So the fascia board is going to get attached directly to this 2x4 right on the end and go all the way around the front and attach to the front of the joist. Now the first thing I want to show you is that I'm wearing heavy duty gloves. So you really need to use this because that metal material right there is really thin and really sharp all along the edges. You can really lose a finger on this, so make sure you're wearing gloves when you're doing this project. The other thing is the fasteners that we're using are called pole barn screws. Now these are specialty items and you can see they come in different colors, and mine matches my material that I'm using, so make sure that yours matches your metal roofing as well. And you see there's a hexagon head here. You're going to need a special drill bit in order to get these to go in. This is also another specialty item that it comes with. So there is a steel washer here, and there's also a rubber bushing. So the rubber bushing is going to be the thing that's going to help this become waterproof. As soon as this screw gets adhered into the metal directly up in, this rubber bushing is going to compress a bit, and what it's going to do is it's going to create a watertight seal so that when it rains, it's not going to create a big puddle problem. So make sure you're using pole barn screws. That's the fastener that you need to use. We're working from the back side of the roofing material, drilling small holes as pilot holes for the pole barn screws. So you notice we have a 2x4 underneath it so it can take the pressure of the drill and not actually dent the material. Now that this metal panel has been pre-drilled for the pole barn screws and cut off at an angle to fit perfectly in the area, I'm taking 100% silicone and I'm putting it over the top of each and every area where we pre-drilled. Now I'm working on the back side. This is going to go straight up against the 2x4s that we installed, and this is going to make a beautiful watertight seal. Even though the pole barn screws are supposed to take care of it, this is just a secondary measure. So these are the tools that you can use for cutting this metal roofing material. They're tin snips. So I like this offset version a little bit better than the straight on version. This tends to get into little creases and stuff a little easier, so you can see exactly how I use it. So you can see here, when you're dealing with concave or convex areas, it gets a little bit more difficult to maneuver this thing around, and this is exactly why you need gloves on, because you could very easily slice a finger here. But once you get going, it comes off really easily. You can get into these corners and pull off that piece of metal. So in order to get this system to be completely waterproof, we've purchased 5-inch gutters along with accessories and some gutter sealant. And what this is going to do is you're going to take these accessories and put them together in whatever configuration is right for you. So we've got some end caps, we've got a downspout accommodator, we've got a right angle, and we've got a slip joint. So we're going to use all of these little accessories, put them together, and make this one cohesive unit. And then that cohesive unit is going to come down the downspout and get inserted into this 6-inch black pipe. Now, if you remember, the 6-inch black pipe goes straight out to the pond in our backyard. But if you don't have a situation like that, you could take the 6-inch pipe and you can actually divert it out into your own yard, into an area where you might want some extra watering done. So this is the existing 6-inch black pipe that we're going to be cutting into. Now, these are concentric circles, so you can cut this with a utility knife. We're going to be inserting this brand new Y into this area, and then we're going to take some other accessory pieces because we need to attach a downspout to this. So this is just a sleeve that slides over one end, and then this is going to accommodate the downspout, and that just kind of sits in place like this. Now this is very bendable, so you can bend this in whatever configuration you need, and then the downspout is going to get inserted into this new area. And we're just putting some gutter sealant in the last 2 rungs here just to seal it up nicely and making sure that when it rains it's not going to leak out all the sides. There's a step down area in our roofing, and this has one small gutter that's being attached to the end of that roofing system. It runs down to a downspout, and then a right angle takes it all the way down to the 6-inch pipe on the other side of the porch. Now this 6-inch pipe is going to accommodate 3 different downspouts. So let me show you how we got the angle here. So our downspout material wasn't quite long enough to make it from the black pipe in one corner to the right angle in this corner, so we had to piece this together. And in order to piece it together, you have to take your pieces and you have to kind of slide them into one another so that the water will continue to flow and not back up on you. And the way that we did this was we took our long piece, we have our angle piece already installed in the corner, and then we've taken a long straight edge and we've laid it on top of that long piece. And what we're looking for here is to measure this piece so that we can actually slide it onto this right angle corner here and then push it into the longer piece on the end. So the gutter system that captures all the water off this smaller roof is really straightforward and easy. It only consists of 5 pieces. So we have a left end cap, a right end cap, an outlet for the downspout, a slip joint, and then a length of gutter, and that's it. But on the other side, it's a little more complicated, so let's go over and see what we're doing there. So the slip joint is attached to the end of the gutter, and we're just going to put a couple screws in here to hold it nice and firmly in place. So I'm going to squeeze some sealant all inside these gaps, just like that. Doesn't have to be neat. And we'll do the same thing with the downspout outlet. Now the way this gutter system works, you have to tilt it onto the clips and then click it in place. Great, nice and secure. We'll do this across the entire length of gutter. So when you're measuring for your downspout, make sure that you have your tape measure set at the very bottom of the gutter, and then you're going to come down to this area here, which is like the bottom of the boot. And no tin snips needed here. You're just going to use an ordinary utility knife, and you're just going to cut right through this. Much easier than you think it is, just like this. So we've got a level on the downspout, and we're just screwing it into that little piece at the bottom. Perfect, just like that. So now that the other gutter is plumb, we're going to try to plumb this black gutter by putting a few screws into the black gutter and then into the downspout. So this is the long gutter that's running along the wall, and we've managed to attach a strap behind one of these seams. And all we're going to do here is wrap it around that seam and put a screw in to hold it really nice and snug to the wall. So now we need to join 2 pieces of gutter together, and the way that this seaming system works is basically it's just one big strap of gutter material. We've put a screw into the back side just to hold it nice and secure in place, and then it comes with a tube of seamer mate, and so I'm just squeezing this all along the edge of this gutter piece, making sure that it's going to be leak-free for life. So now we're getting to the hardest part of the job. You know, you can't find an inside angle, at least at our big box store, so we have to make an inside angle. And so I've got this nifty tool here that actually measures the angle itself. And so this winds up being a 40-degree angle that we have to cut out of a piece of gutter. So we're going to cut it and bend it to fit into this area, show you exactly how to do that. So he's starting out with a thick piece of paper. He's drawn a straight line on it, and then either with a protractor or whatever other instrument you have to create a 40-degree angle, he's drawn that angle onto this piece of paper and trimmed off down to about 2/3 of the way down so that he has a way that he can trace this onto the gutter itself. So the way this piece of paper is going to work, we're going to work on the right-hand side of that inside corner. I'm going to lay the piece of paper right in there and trace out that angle right onto the edge of the gutter itself. So once I can do that, I can take it all the way up to the end. Now, when you get to the end here, you're going to leave a little bit of a tab. So make sure that you go ahead and end that piece right at the top there, because you're going to need this piece right here in order to screw in the top on the other side. So this is the easy side. It's cut with tin snips. So the left gutter is all cut, but you can see it's a little bit more difficult than the right-hand side. You're still going to be using the same piece of paper. You're going to line it up on the cut edge on the right-hand side. So right over here, you're going to line this up and you're going to trace a mark onto that gutter. So once that's done, you're going to go ahead and move in a little bit so you can leave a tail here. This is the back side that's going to wrap around to the right-hand side of that inside corner. You can move this in 1 inch, and then you can trace out that edge right onto the gutter itself and cut right along that edge. Then this next line here that's still intact, you're going to make that line with the same piece of paper about 1/2 inch in. This is going to allow you to screw into the other side and make this nice and secure. The thing to note here though is that we have to make all of these little cuts in here and remove material in order for these two pieces to slide together, kind of like this. So it's going to go in something like that. But more importantly, when you trace this up and you make your angle all the way up to the top, now there's a little notch cut out the top here, you need to notch out all of these pieces along that OG edge because it needs to curve around and you need to have a surface to actually put that gutter sealant onto. So make note of where all of these are. Now you can see the one that goes along the back side here is in about 1/2 inch, a little bit more than the line that you traced. You've got a nice angle cut out here, couple little angles cut out here, so that this is going to follow over the contour of the right hand side. Again, a nice triangle cut out, a nice triangle cut out. So once you have all of your cuts done, you can go ahead and put these two pieces together, screw them together, and then put the sealant in. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. The screws are going to be sealed off with gutter sealant. There's the tab that we have kind of holding all that stuff in place. Here are all the metal tabs. So we're going to put sealant on the inside of all this, and this is what it looks like from the front side. So this is going to have a bead of caulk running along the outside in a dark brown, so it's going to blend in perfectly. Looks really nice all the way around. And that's what it looks like when it's installed. Now that the inside corner is set in place, we can go ahead and measure our next length. So we're doing the inside corner straight on, so it's a straight cut on the right hand side. But when you come to an outside corner, what happens is the back side is going to be a little shorter than the front side. So we have to do 2 different measurements and cut this piece at an angle so that it fits perfectly inside this 45-degree angle piece. We're getting ready to cut our last length of gutter. It's going over this entire section, but we want the water to run in one direction and then in the other. So we need to make a little splice in the middle and put a little piece in so that we can get the water moving correctly. So the gutter's all done, so let's just move on to the fascia board and then this project is finished. Now we're using a 1x8 for this purpose, and this is PVC. And you notice it's white right now, but it's completely paintable, so we're going to paint it dark brown when it's all done. But what we're going to attach it with are some galvanized finish nails, so you can't see the heads very much. It's going to look like a nice professional job when we're all finished. Well, I don't know how I did it, but I managed to wait until a heavily rainy day for the big reveal. And you know what? Our underdeck roof and drainage system project is a complete success. Yes, I did have to go back and tighten up a couple of screws in this heavy rain. A couple areas were dripping, but you know what? I was trying to take care of that as I was holding up the panel and watching my father insert the pole barn screws into the panels. You can kind of see it, but sometimes you get it a little off. So you might have to go back and do the same thing with yours. But I'm going to take you around a tour. You know, the gutter system turned out looking exactly like crown molding. It looks absolutely beautiful, and we have no leaks. So if you try this project on your home, you're going to gain valuable square footage just like I did. And you know what? You'll also be protecting your outdoor furniture from weather and deterioration. I can imagine this space being used for parties, for lounging, or even letting your indoor cats get a taste of the outdoors. This is Renee Romeo of ReneeRomeo.com. Please visit my website for projects like this, and please like, share, subscribe, and follow, and I'll continue to bring great projects like this to you in the future.